Hey everyone, and welcome to Deep Dive. We like to get kind of nerdy here and dig deep into all sorts of topics, and today we're going deep on negativity. But not just like the feeling but how negativity actually impacts your brain and your body.
Mhm.
We've got research here from PVD Psychological Associates, Mark Mathis, and Bree Maloney, and we're going to see what they have to say. It might make you think twice about that whole glass half empty thing.
Oh, yeah, negativity. We hear that word all the time, but we don't always stop to think what it really means. The research shows that it's way more than just a feeling. Negativity can cause real changes in our brains and bodies.
Okay, so PVD Psychological Associates talks about thoughts triggering physical reactions, like they compare it to the fight or flight response. So is our brain freaking out the same way over a scary movie as it would if a bear was chasing us?
Well, it's not exactly the same, but there are definitely some similarities. In both situations, your brain's limbic system kind of takes over. This is the part of your brain that controls emotions and survival instincts. It helps you react quickly when you're in danger. But here's the thing. Your brain doesn't always know the difference between a real threat and something you're just worrying about.
So you're saying my brain is hitting the panic button when I'm just stressed about work or something?
Yeah, basically. And get this, when your limbic system is going haywire, it can actually mess with your prefrontal cortex. And that's the part of your brain that's responsible for thinking clearly and making decisions.
Okay, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
It explains why I can never think straight when I'm super stressed.
Exactly. And PVD Psychological Associates has this interesting tip for dealing with that. They say you should try doing a puzzle or something.
Wait, really? Like a Sudoku puzzle.
I know it sounds kind of weird, but think about it this way. Doing something mentally challenging forces that prefrontal cortex to get back to work. It's like you're shifting your brain's energy away from the emotional stuff and back to logic and reasoning.
That's pretty cool. I usually just tell myself to take a deep breath.
Deep breaths are good, but a brain teaser could be even better.
I'm totally going to try that. What about you? Have you ever tried that?
I'm not really a puzzle person myself, but I do find that anything that requires me to really focus helps me when I'm feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah, I get that. By the way, listeners, think about a time when you were totally stressed out. Could a brain teaser have helped you in that moment?
It's worth thinking about. And it actually leads us to our next article, which is by Mark Mathis. He talks about this wild idea called emotional contagion.
Emotional contagion. That sounds kind of scary. Are you telling me negativity is contagious?
Kind of, yeah. Mathis explains that we have these things called mirror neurons in our brains, and they allow us to basically absorb other people's emotions.
Whoa, for real?
It's why you feel good when you're around happy people and why being around negative people can bum you out. Have you ever walked into a room where everyone's tense and arguing and you instantly start feeling anxious?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Well, those are your mirror neurons at work.
So it's not just like a vibe. It's literally our brains mirroring other people's emotions.
Yep. Pretty crazy, right?
Yeah, that's kind of freaky if you think about it.
It can be, and here's why. When we're exposed to negativity, our brains actually react as if we are experiencing that negativity ourselves. Our amygdala, the part of your brain that detects threats, it gets activated and triggers stress hormones.
Like cortisol, right?
Exactly.
And too much cortisol is definitely not a good thing.
Right. Mathis says that being exposed to negativity for too long can cause all kinds of problems.
Wow, so we're not just talking about feeling bad. Negativity is actually affecting our bodies.
Exactly. It's like a chain reaction, and it can have some serious consequences for our health and well-being.
Okay, this is getting intense. We need to talk about this more. But first, a quick break.
Yeah, it can have some pretty scary consequences. Which brings us to Bree Maloney's article. She really lays out all the ways that negativity can impact our physical health.
Okay, so we know it's bad for us, but how bad are we talking?
Well, Maloney says that negativity can increase your risk of all sorts of health problems. We're talking everything from brain diseases like Alzheimer's to heart problems like heart attacks and strokes. Even digestive issues like irritable bowel syndrome can be linked to negativity.
Hold on, negativity can mess with my gut.
It can. Remember when we were talking about how the limbic system can hijack the prefrontal cortex? Well, that same stress response can affect other parts of your body too, including your digestion. When your body is in that fight or flight mode, it's focused on keeping you alive. Things like digesting food kind of get put on hold.
Wow, it's crazy how connected everything is. So negativity isn't just making us feel bad, it's actually preventing our bodies from working properly.
Exactly. And it can also weaken your immune system, so you're more likely to get sick, and it might even take you longer to recover.
So basically staying positive isn't just about good vibes. It's about keeping our bodies healthy.
It really is. And here's a little bit of good news. Maloney's research says that it only takes about 21 days to break a negativity habit.
21 days. That's not that long.
I know, right? You start to wonder why we put up with all this negativity for so long.
Yeah, seriously.
The thing is, negativity can become a habit like anything else, but the good news is that we can break bad habits.
Makes sense. I'm curious, have you ever noticed any physical effects from negativity yourself?
Oh, of course. Everyone gets stressed out sometimes. I've definitely noticed that when I'm being negative, it affects my energy levels, my sleep, even my digestion. But reading all this research has made me way more aware of how my thoughts are affecting my body.
That's great. It's like we've been given this secret weapon against negativity.
Exactly. But the question is, how do we use it?
Yeah. How do we
Right.
actually go from knowing about negativity to like actually fighting back against it?
Well, that's where our last article comes in. It's from Healthy Place, and they give us some actual strategies for dealing with negative thoughts.
Nice. So they're not just telling us negativity is bad, they're giving us the tools to do something about it.
Exactly. The first thing they point out is that there's a difference between like regular negativity and like seriously harmful patterns of negative thinking. We all have bad days.
Right.
It's when negativity starts taking over your life that you need to do something about it.
That makes sense. So how do we know when it's gone too far?
Well, Healthy Place highlights three main causes of negative thoughts, and they all come down to like fear and anxiety. Fear of the future, anxiety about the present, and shame about the past.
Oof, yeah, I've definitely been there.
I think we all have. But here's the good news. Healthy Place gives us some practical ways to challenge those negative thoughts.
Okay, I'm all ears. What do they suggest?
They say the first step is to ask yourself, is this thought even true?
Hmm.
Like sometimes we get so caught up in our negative thoughts that we don't even stop to consider if they're accurate.
Yeah, that's so true. Sometimes I realize I'm stressing about something that hasn't even happened yet.
Exactly. It's like we're letting our imaginations run wild. The next step is to ask yourself if the thought is empowering or disempowering. Is it helping you move forward or is it holding you back?
I love that. It's about taking control of our thoughts instead of letting them control us.
Exactly. And the next question is all about finding the silver lining. Ask yourself, can I learn something from this? Or is there a positive side to this situation?
Sometimes it feels like there's nothing good about a bad situation, but there usually is if you look hard enough.
Right. It's all about perspective. Healthy Place also suggests asking yourself, what would my life be like without these negative beliefs?
Ooh, that's a good one. It's like imagining a better version of yourself.
It is. And finally, and maybe most importantly, they say to ask yourself, is this thought masking a deeper issue?
What do you mean by that?
Well, sometimes our negative thoughts are actually symptoms of something else going on. Like maybe there's some unresolved trauma or an underlying mental health condition that needs to be addressed.
That's a really good point. If you're struggling with constant negativity, it's important to reach out for help.
Yeah, absolutely. A therapist can help you work through those thoughts and develop healthy coping mechanisms.
Man, this has been a really eye-opening deep dive.
Oh, yeah.
It's like we've uncovered this whole hidden world of negativity.
Mm.
I never realized how much it could impact us, like from our brains to our bodies to even our gut health.
I know, it's crazy, right? But the good news is we don't have to just let negativity control us. We can learn to recognize it, challenge it, and choose to be more positive.
That's a good point. It's like we have more power than we think. You know, something I was thinking about earlier, we talked about emotional contagion and how negativity can spread.
Mm-hmm.
But does that work for positivity too? Like, can we catch good vibes from other people?
Oh, absolutely. Just like being around negative people can bring you down, being around positive people can lift you up.
So it's like a two-way street.
Yeah, it's all about creating a positive feedback loop.
What do you mean by that?
Well, think about it. When you're around positive people, you tend to feel more positive yourself,
Right.
and then you're more likely to spread that positivity to others.
So it's like a chain reaction of good vibes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it all starts with surrounding yourself with people who uplift and support you.
I love that. It's like we have the power to create a more positive world just by being more positive ourselves.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be anything big. Just small acts of kindness, genuine compliments, even just smiling at people can make a difference.
This has been such an amazing deep dive. We learned that negativity can really mess with our brains and bodies, but we also learned that we're not helpless. We can fight back by becoming aware of our negative thoughts, challenging them, and choosing to be more positive.
And remember, it's a journey. There will be times when you feel negative. But the important thing is to keep practicing those positive habits.
It's like working out a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets.
Exactly. And if you're struggling, don't be afraid to reach out for help.
There are so many resources available, like therapy, support groups, even just talking to a friend. Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and be sure to check back next week for another deep dive into a fascinating topic. Until then, stay curious.